else you want to talk about?
How about I would like to talk about an uplifting topic. Let's talk about politics.
Yeah, uplifting. Yeah, I don't know how uplifting that is, but
it's not. I was being extremely sarcastic when I said that.
Yeah, I've been watching and catching the news. First of all, CNN, please stop thanking every person that reports on some story and saying great reporting. That is so annoying. They're doing their job.
Do they also have to put a picture of their book next to whatever quote it is, or headshot of them talking?
God, it's so.
Everybody has a book. Like, I get it.
Nobody cares. Nobody like you. The thing about I've been thinking about, and this is a tangent, but
tangent.
The thing about journalists that kind of amazes me is that they're experts in everything, but like doers of nothing. And like, it's kind of annoying. You're an expert on politics, but you've never held an office. You're an expert on blah, and I'm not saying that they're not. I always think of Bob Costas. Never been a professional athlete, but one of the greatest minds in analyzing a lot of sports, not just any particular one, but
yeah,
very well versed. And I respect Bob Costas for that. And I think that is he's an example of somebody in journalism, especially sports journalism, that I respect. General news,
Are you saying general news you don't respect Bob Costas's take on it, or
that too? Like, okay. I never want Bob Costas's opinion on something political. It's just like I don't want Bomani Jones, or I don't want Smith. I don't want to hear their take on. I don't care. Like, I just don't care. Stephen A. Smith was on a show a couple weeks ago giving his take on. Now, as an individual, his view is important, right?
Sure.
But he's only giving his opinion because he's Stephen A. Smith.
Right.
And I don't know Stephen A. Smith for politics. I know him for talking shit about everything else. So I'm really not that interested. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, I'll disagree that I don't mind hearing some political talk from Bomani Jones, but that's because he's somebody that I feel has shown himself to be educated enough to be able to speak on the things. Like, he doesn't just talk out the side of his ass for the sake of talking.
That's not my argument. He should not be the person that a news station decides to bring in for their opinion on. I respect his opinion, and I agree with a lot. I agree.
Yeah, but he's like the stand-in black guy. Like, yeah, we need somebody to talk about black things. Is Bomani Jones available?
Joining us now, the perfect person to talk about that, Bomani Jones.
Look, there were 650,000 emails. Is John Gruden the person who said the most salacious thing in all those emails?
Oh, no, I mean, it's like trying to make a safe cigarette. That's just not really how this works, how this game works. And part of why people watch is the fact that it's not safe.
My opinion on that is still true. It's like, look, you're an expert in sports, and people, they look to you for sports opinions, not political. It's important, but don't do that. It just bothers me. It's like, yeah, why is this your wheelhouse? And it's a true example of those that can't do teach, right? I look at all these, like, especially on CNN, that's predominantly where I watch a lot of my national news, and it's like they're stroking their own egos.
I think they're stroking more than that.
Yeah, which brings me to my next topic. Joe Biden is older. I think we all
older
knew that.
Than what?
I don't know, but he's not 45. He's not 34. He's not 38. He's older than most other people running for president.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck your polls. It's like, yeah, I think we all know that he's older than most people running for president. Nobody's really talking about that, and I get concerned when I hear these arguments that like they'll have a poll and they'll say Americans say. Nobody called me and asked me what I thought. I promise you, they didn't. They did not ask me what I thought or what I think. So I get, yeah. So I get kind of irritated with, like, remember 2016 when Trump became president? It's because of the media.
No. I've blocked that from. Yes, of course.
Trump goes away without the media.
Yeah, I mean, the argument is that Trump never really wanted to be president in the first place. That the only reason that he even had a quote unquote campaign to run and that he did any of that was to try and basically fluff his brand and put it back in the spotlight. But then all the other candidates were such dipshits, and the media was just like, did you see what Donald Trump did? Did you see what Donald Trump did? Did you see what Donald Trump did? That he sucked all the air out of the room for everybody else. And so then you had him up against one of the most flawed candidates, maybe, in Hillary Clinton, because people didn't like Bill, and people felt like it was the Clinton dynasty, never mind the Bushes,
or never mind the Kennedys, right?
Or the Roosevelts. But
I mean, I think they get in the way of politics. I don't think that whatever their mission is very clear, and it's very annoying. And their polls are fucking. It's like when I was in real estate, my mentor told me, because I was preparing my first listing presentation, and he goes, you know what they say about charts, right? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but what's your point? What they say about charts is in quote unquote data, you can make them say whatever you want to say. Like, it's all subjective. And the person that creates a chart or a graph or a report, they know that. Their job is not to give you unbiased data. It's to convince you. It's to confirm your bias. What the fuck do we think polls are? Like, it's nothing more.
I saw a headline the other day that said a majority of Americans believe made up poll numbers.
That's probably true.
It is, but I also made that up. So if you believed it, I gotcha.
Like Vivek Ramaswamy.
Fuck that guy.
He's they call him Trump 2.0. And I'm like, no, not even Trump. Well, actually, Trump is that stupid. He's just a nitwit. And he never answers a question.
Did you see there was an interview with him on MSNBC where, like, he just flat out, like, refused to answer the question?
No.
And you're avoiding my question. To tell the difference in this country. What did Donald Trump do, no, I'm not avoiding in your view, that was downright abhorrent? Second time I think that the thing that I would have done differently if I were in his shoes. I'll ask it a third time. That's exactly the thing I would have done. What did Trump do that was egregious, quote, downright abhorrent, and a danger to democracy? Can you just explain to our viewers? Your words. So you're mixing two different quotes. But what did I think was reprehensible about what happened that day? You keep saying what you would have done. I just want to hear from your mouth. No. Unless you're scared of him, why won't you say what he did that was downright abhorrent? I want you to answer my question, Vivek. Three times I've asked it. What did Trump do that was downright abhorrent? It's a simple question. It's your words. It's on screen. What did he do that was downright abhorrent?
Refused to answer the question beyond saying what it was that he would do differently, or claiming that the single quote was actually multiple quotes that were stitched together to make him sound like he was trash talking Donald Trump.
I saw a clip of him, and he was with his wife, and he says, when I'm as president, I would do this. No, as president, my job is. I'm like, but you're not president, right? I'm like, who told you that you actually even won the nomination to our president of the United States. He's cosplaying his whole shit is cosplay.
Yeah,
it's it. Let's see who else. Nikki Haley at the Republican debate.
The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us, too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. They all voted to raise the debt. And Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt. And our kids are never going to forgive us for this. You look at the 2024 budget. Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
It's not Joe Biden's fault that we're fucking broke as shit. It's Donald Trump and every Republican that's been in office for the last 30 years. Yeah, whatever she said.
So if this is your first time ever listening to this podcast, there was a time in life I was a registered Republican. There was a time in my life I was a registered Democrat. Both were utter mistakes.
Dark periods
of my life.
But then he's seen the light.
And now I'm an independent. And I think they both equally suck. Some
just suck equally more than others.
Sure, and they are entitled to do all the sucking they want to do. I'm not a libertarian because I do enjoy good roads. I would love for ambulances to come to my house if there was an issue. You can't pick and choose where you get tax dollars spent.
Well, you can if you get school choice, but
which is a disaster. So
sorry, I know we talked about that last time, so we don't have to go like down the big rabbit hole on that.
It's a disaster, but fuck. So anyway,
I have another one.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to say more about Nikki Haley.
I think she did a great job at the debate.
Yeah, I thought so too. Probably the best performance of any of those assholes.
I think, and I'll be quite honest, like, if she was a legit candidate, I'd probably consider voting for her because I don't think she is completely attached to most of the stupidity of the broader GOP.
No.
Although she is white passing and she tries to play that to her advantage. Like her and Vivek were going back and forth about who's more Indian. And that shit was cracking me up.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, so like Google Vivek calling her by her given name.
First of all, I was born with Nikki on my birth certificate. I was raised as Nikki. I married a Haley, and so that is what my name is. So he can say or misspell or do whatever he wants.
He's a dumb piece of shit. Like, not dumb in his business acumen.
Right.
He's more successful than Donald Trump is. But everything else, he's just dumb. Like, if you vote for him because, he's young, he gives a fresh point of view. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I mean, that was, not the young part, but that was the argument for Donald Trump, right? He's an outsider. He doesn't think like a politician. He just says whatever's on his mind. He's like, okay, that should concern you when you hear the things that are coming out of his mouth. Like, if that's the only things that are on his mind, then like, what are we dealing with here, folks?
Well, to be fair, I think there is there are flaws in our democracy, and I really believe we're one nut job away from like being a third world country, right? We as a country decided to vote for Donald Trump. Somehow he became the president of the United States. And an observation I made yesterday is that if you ever look, can you find a picture of Donald Trump with his chin showing? He looks like he's got a vagina on his neck.
JJ.
Yeah, but JJ. And that's who he is. He's a big old pussy neck. He's a walking, talking, overweight pussy neck. And why would we want a guy with a pussy neck to run our country? They call this fat clown an alpha male. Are you kidding me?
But they have all those pictures, the Photoshop pictures of like Trump, on the head of like a super jacked guy.
He's holding
with
like
all these
AR-15s and shit.
Yeah, or he's got all these tattoos, and
he's a clown. He's an embarrassment to just in general. Just the soul of, I hate to use that, but like, who are we as a country if we really take this guy seriously? Like,
but see, like, that's what I wonder, right? Because I think I, for one, did not take him seriously at all, right? The whole campaign. Like, the moment that he won the Republican nomination, I'm like, well, that's over.
But you have Hillary.
Hillary's going to be the next. Yeah, right. Yeah. No, and I get that. And then with all the stuff with Comey and the emails, and I get it.
For me, it wasn't the emails. It was her. It was.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying for you, but I'm just, for a lot of people. Anyways, I never took him seriously. Then he became president. And it was like, all right, well, as much as I really dislike pretty much everything about this person, I will try to give him like the benefit of the doubt, or an opportunity at least, to do the job and see how he does. And we sat there January or December of 2019, was it?
I'll be perfectly honest, right? In 2016, I thought maybe this is the end of the world. There was a part of me in the back of my brain. It was like, this guy's just going to walk on into the office and he's just going to go, fuck it, and push the button. Like, like that was kind of, and I don't know why, because obviously he has his own self-preservation in mind. He doesn't want the world destroyed. He can't make billions or millions of dollars if, there isn't money flowing everywhere. So obviously, it's in his best interest to not ruin things while he's there, but things have not gone as poorly as I anticipated. Now, granted, that bar was set pretty low, considering I thought it was the end of the world. But,
or we're okay.
I mean, but if I'm being 100% perfectly honest, in the grand scheme of things, it has not been as bad as I thought it would be.
I mean, the fact, honestly, that he didn't kill all of us.
But he doesn't have the power.
It's not an accomplishment.
He doesn't.
No, I know.
He doesn't have the power.
You know what I mean?
It's just the. For me, what Trump did was make me just kind of think, man, people don't know how this country works.
Yes, there was certainly a lot of confirmation of that.
Like, we just have we literally have people that, like, I know people I really enjoy hanging around with that say Trump was good for the economy. I'm like, can you please explain to me how that is true? And they have no answer.
Well, economy was good when Trump was in office.
Again, that's what frustrates me.
Numbers big means good.
It's just,
sorry, I'm not trying to insult your friends. I just,
please tell me how that's true, please. Well, right. We're safe. What do you mean we're safe? The economy's great.
America is dangerous now, right? It's not safe to be in America anywhere. Did you know that Chicago...
Bitch, where you live
Chicago, literally everybody in Chicago has been murdered.
They're dead. They're all dead.
They're all dead. Every single person.
The border is secure. He built the wall? Yeah, he built the wall. It was like,
wait, no. The border was secure, but then as soon as Joe Biden became president, magically, like, parts of the wall just disappeared.
It was 20 yards. It was even a fucking wall. It was a deck.
It wasn't even like, not only that, but then didn't we, like, the stupid, we'll do these, like,
they had slats.
vertical slats. right? And they were close enough that people couldn't really get through them. But you and I sat here and watched that video of the guys who figured out how to scale it. It's like they just have a little like grappling hook and they throw it up and they climb up and they had that ladder.
Yeah, if you could bring a ladder in the joint, like you're not doing anything, yo.
No.
So the only serious candidate in my mind is Nikki Haley and Tim Scott. I just found out today, thanks to your brilliant reporting. See what I did there, CNN? That Tim Scott is black.
I didn't think you knew. Well, no, I'll take that back. I was pretty sure you knew. I'm not sure that the rest of America knew.
Tim Scott is the blind racist from the Chappelle Show.
Black power!
When I think of Tim Scott, that's who I think
of. I think I'm just going to let you handle this topic for my own sake and safety.
Yo, that nigga don't know he's black, man. He's this clown says racism doesn't exist in the United States.
Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
Well, to be fair, he and Lindsey Graham are very good friends.
Hopefully not too good.
Tim and I have a good relationship. I love Tim Scott.
He says that I mean, look, man, every black person's got their own deal, and I respect that. We all have our own struggle. I respect that. The fact of the matter is, there are obstacles you face if you're not white in this country, and if you can't acknowledge that, I can't trust you.
That's the most racist thing you've ever said.
Okay, then I guess I'm racist.
How dare you?
Yeah.
You know, what do you expect? If you just keep talking about the problem, it's not just going to magically go away then. But if we just ignore it, or not even ignore it, but we just don't say it out loud.
Yep, and that has not worked. I mean, Martin Luther King straight up said that, you know, a year after the march in Washington, that, to paraphrase, he was being naive. You know, Malcolm X and many others said the bigger threat to the Negro is the liberal white man. There's a reason for that, and I'm not even being like mean. I'm just saying, like, yeah, as long as you don't have to worry about like tension in your everyday life, bad stuff can still happen. But the reality is, like, we need to address the bad stuff. Like, why is it that fill in the blank, and fix it as a community, as a society. That's real. Yeah. I'm not saying, and I never say every white person is bad, but I will say that they are the purveyors of bad shit to non-whites in this country. You know, I was listening to the news today, and apparently Mexico is on the verge of having their first female president. They have two candidates of their two major parties that have elected two women to run the country. They have rules and laws that make sure there is not just diversity for diversity's sakes, but equity in the leadership of the country. But yet, we as Americans, and I'm proud to be an American to some extent, feel that Mexico is a backwards third world country. Women didn't have the right to vote until 1953 in Mexico. Mm-hmm. But they have their number is 17 or 7. It starts with a 7, or it has a 7 in it. And diverse leadership of their at a national level. We're number 75. Mm-hmm. What does that tell you about some of the bullshit we're on? That, I mean, it's a fair question. And it's like,
I have to retract a previous statement because that is now the most racist thing you've ever said, Andre.
Why is that racist?
Because I think what you're implying is that if you're an old white dude, you get to be in leadership in America. And while that may have historically been true, and it may even still currently be true, there's an opportunity for it to not be true in the future, but not if you keep fucking talking about it.
So we just have to wait for everybody to take a nap at a podium?
And a string of I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing you.
That's okay. What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
I mean, do you buy the crap from the Senate doctor or whatever?
No.
It was like, oh, he's perfectly fine. He didn't have a stroke.
You
or
had
anything.
the presidential doctors say that
Trump
didn't have COVID. Like, so
Yeah.
why would I?
Well, that and that he was the most fit specimen that he'd ever.
Yeah, you had clowns telling people that he was intelligent. Like, he had this 4-year-old thinking he was. I remember 7 words, and nobody's ever done that before.
So the last time I was at the hospital, probably a year ago, a little less than a year ago, I asked the doctor, I said, is there some kind of a cognitive test that I could take? Because I've been hearing about it, because I want to shut these people up. Like, I'll do an interview with you. I didn't say, you can't ask me about this. I say, ask me anything. I did one with Chris Wallace. He was nice enough to say, he said, I just want to tell the audience there was no question that's off bounds. Okay, and he's a tough cookie. If you're in the office of the presidency, we have to be sharp. So they were saying all these different things. It was going all over. Whichever stuck. None of it stuck, fortunately. But one of the reasons it didn't is that I took a test. And it was 30 or 35 questions. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult. Like, you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that? So I said, yeah. Okay, that's very good. If you get it in order, you get extra points. Okay, now he's asking you other questions, and then 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first. Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go person, woman, man, camera, TV. If you get it in order, you get extra points. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy. And that's not an easy question. In other words, they ask it to you, they give you 5 names and you have to repeat them, and that's okay. But then when you go back about 20, 25 minutes later and they say, go back to that question, they don't tell you this, go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you go, person, woman, man, camera, TV. I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there. Now, Joe should take that test, because something's going on, and I say this with respect, but we can't take a chance of it happening. When you're dealing with Russia, and there's nobody been tougher to Russia than me, nobody been tougher to China than me, I can tell you right now, they would love to see Joe Biden instead of Trump. If this person isn't sharp, because I can tell you, President Xi is sharp, President Putin is sharp, Erdogan is sharp. You don't have any non-sharp people that you're dealing with, and we can't have somebody that's not 100%. You know, if you take this test, we may have to reveal it. I said, it's all right. I mean, is it tough? Tell me about it. I'd never heard of it. And I got a perfect mark. And the doctors they said very few people can do it. But it's not that easy. But as soon as they announced my score and that test, all the stuff went away about me. Is he competent? Remember, they're talking about 25th Amendment and nonsense. And they said person, woman, man, camera, TV.
So no. And Mitch McConnell is not somebody I wish ill will on, but yo, homie, you gotta, like, if it were me, I would want to take my remaining days and spend it with my family. I wouldn't be worried about the circle jerks in the freaking Senate.
But do you think that that's how Mitch McConnell thinks?
And
do you think that Mitch McConnell is like, I want to spend time with my family?
Hold on, let me get back to you. Give me a minute.
I would just die if somebody did like a Photoshop of that and put like a turtle shell on him. And when he freezes, like his neck just goes inside the turtle shell. They're just, Senator, did you hear the question?
Oh shit!
I know. I feel not that bad because it's fucking Mitch McConnell and he's a total piece of shit. So
there's that. I mean, and like, there's some people
you hate to see it though. You really do. Like, I'm being legitimate. It sucks to watch people go through that kind of stuff publicly, and whether it's his wife or anybody in his family or, you know, his inner circle, somebody should be trying to convince him, if they aren't already, that he needs to step down.
It's time to sunset, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you probably have a few good years left. I heard somebody say that he wanted freeze tag. And I shouldn't laugh, but god damn, that's funny. That's fucking funny. It's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Democrats.
No, you mean Ruth Alpha Ginsburg?
Yeah, she should have like retired, yo. I mean, she spent a minute in the hospital for a while. Like, she should have done the right thing and just retired. And now Democrats are crying about that shit. And it's like, no, but you totally played yourself.
I mean, I think we are going to have to just put age and term limits on
the ballots. And don't do it at a federal level. It ain't going to work. Do it at a state by state level.
Yep. Yeah, that's all that matters, right? I mean, yeah, the Supreme Court, but even then, like, the Supreme Court, the current makeup of it is essentially saying that Congress has no authority to regulate the Supreme Court in any way, shape, or form. And it's like,
so what do you do then?
Like, we are the all-knowing, all-powerful Supreme Court. You cannot challenge us. We are unchallengeable.
And you got homie like taking free rides everywhere.
Private jets, flights, and, you know.
But
yeah, I mean, there's no conflict of interest there. And he asked somebody. I asked Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, do I need to put this on the form? And Jimmy was like,
Alito.
I'm just the janitor, man. Like, oh yeah, even better. I asked Alito, and Alito was like,
nah, you good, homie.
How did you get in here?
Alito's like, homie, don't even say nothing. Don't snitch. So you got the crook asking the thief what they should do next.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I can't even rock with that. And it's just, it's not that people have lower confidence in our institutions. It's just that the institutions that should not exist, the people that are in these institutions that should not be there, continue to influence shit for everybody else. So I just want to say thank you for all the people that subscribe and listen to the Chris and Andre Show. We're very glad and grateful that you listen and you've subscribed. We're going to get on a regular cadence. Please go to the Chris and Andre Show, or chrisandandreshow.com. Subscribe to our audio podcast. We are on fireside.fm, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, obviously. Wherever you're listening to podcasts, you can probably find the audio version. And yeah, we really appreciate it. I'm very grateful and humbled, to be honest with you, that people actually enjoy the podcast. And if you like what you hear, hit the like button, leave comments. If If you have suggestions, always just let us know. We'll be glad to answer that. We do involve and engage in the comments, even the weird ones. So yeah. Chris is just standing there stoic.
I don't know what you just were like, I'm going to do this thing and didn't tell me what you were going to say. So yeah, what he said.